I don't know if I've said this before, and if you have heard me say it, you'll hear me say it again now, and it probably won't be the last time I say it. One interesting thing about my macro lens is that I'm learning that the types of pictures that I find interesting are pictures that tell a story or that carry some sort of meaning or weight beyond just here's a picture of a pencil close up. Isn't that neat? Here's a picture of a quarter close up. Isn't that cool? What I'm trying to do more with this macro lens, and I've only had it for like 2 months at this point, but I've shot a lot with it. What I'm trying to do more is take pictures that are visually interesting, like last week's photo of a water droplet, but also carry some sort of story along with it. And that's what you see here. I've called it tuning tower because it almost looks like a cooling tower for a nuclear reactor, but it's not. It's actually just the tuning peg on a guitar. And that might give you a sense of just how close this macro lens can get to a subject. These tuning pegs, if you play guitar, you know, they're probably like, I don't know, a half-inch tall. And that's what you see here. It's this it's a guitar string wound around a peg, and the whole thing is just, it's really, really small. You can even see the lines on the tuning tower itself, or the tuning peg, the horizontal lines that go around it from when it was milled at the machine shop. And it gets so close to these things that it puts these familiar things in a totally different light. But what I find interesting about this is that, well, first of all, this is my guitar. I have an Epiphone Les Paul guitar. I've had it for like 20 years. I got it, I think, when I was in high school, maybe when I was a freshman in college, but I don't remember. A long time ago. I was going to say I delivered a lot of newspapers, but no, that's not true. I bagged a lot of groceries at the grocery store to pay for that guitar, and then more guitar stuff like amps and all kinds of stuff. And that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing my Epiphone Les Paul, the same one I've had for years, really close up. And I've been playing this more lately, only I've been playing it with my kids, and they have guitars now. One has an electric, one has an acoustic, and the three of us are playing guitar. And I've been relearning a lot of things about guitar, not necessarily relearning music, because I don't know, I've always played it over the years, but learning how enjoyable it is and how much fun it is to just sit down and create music, even if you're not playing a song specifically. It's just fun to play with your guitar and make music from this thing. And I'm also, once again, learning more about macro photography. I forget the exact exposure settings on this, but I'm pretty sure I shot this at like f52 or something insanely small. If you're curious, you can, if you're on the blog, you can click the photo and go to Flickr and look up the exposure data. If you're on YouTube, you can click the link below the video to my blog and then go to Flickr. But I think I took this at a really small aperture. And once again, I thought, well, shooting at f52, that's depth of field isn't going to matter. Like, everything's going to be in focus, but that's not the case at all. We have a matter of inches between this tuning peg in the foreground and then the one right behind it, and then the one in the way background there. I mean, we're talking like 2-3 inches, and everything is completely blown out. I used a tripod. I think I had a 10-second exposure on this. And one thing about this photo is you can't tell on this, but on the original, there was dust spots all over this photo that I had to clean up, because when you shoot with such a small aperture, it shows every little imperfection on the lens. You can't even see dust if you look at the lens, but it shows up because it's like microscopic. And it was a ton of fun to take this photo. I had my guitar positioned on like a pillow on top of a coffee table in the living room while my kids were playing Nintendo. And looking at where is the light coming from, where do I want my camera to be positioned, what about the angle of how I'm shooting this. It's a ton of fun to take this. Not quite as much as playing the guitar, but I like the story behind it, probably even more than the photo itself.